All right. Hello, everyone. Excuse me. It's been a while since we have connected in a solo episode for me. I've been doing a lot of interviews the last several podcast episodes, and it has been super fun. But I really was moved today to come on and share a solo episode and really talk about what 2021 is bringing us. And before I do that, just a couple things. Before I really launch into the content of today's episode, I wanted to just talk about some house cleaning, some logistics. So we were doing the podcast every week, which is super fun and great. And I'm really excited to share that we're up to almost 1,000 downloads and 14 different countries all across the US. So really exciting stuff happening. And I really basically followed my intuition. And I didn't overthink it and overanalyze and no analysis paralysis. And here we are. But we're going to move to every other week, at least for the next few months, as we experiment with really getting out high quality content, but also not the grind of editing and uploading and getting people's bios and all that beautiful stuff. So we're going to go to every other week. This one is going to be out on January 21st. And I'm actually recording it on 1/1/2021. So that's no coincidence that this is the day I decided to record. But I'm basically stepping back for 2021 and reassessing all the different projects I have going on, the men's group, the courses through Heart of the Matter, my one-to-one coaching, my group coaching, the Inner Sangha, and the Heart of the Matter Facebook group, and the educational consulting I do. So I have a lot of projects going on, and hopefully this will help getting into content. Hopefully this will help you too, as you try and simplify what you're doing. And if you're really in line with your soul's calling here in this short amount of time we're on this planet. But as I'm reassessing my projects, I wanted to share about some of them so you know what's going on, and then stay tuned for updates about some things we're working on. I'm working on a rebrand of the David K. Richards website and Heart of the Matter, the website. And in case you don't know, we do have a master course called Inner Sangha. And that is, we've run one group for about 3 months, and we're actually opening another group up on February 11th. So stay tuned for that. And that's really for entrepreneurs, leaders, seekers, healers that are really looking to go deep and change literally every element of their life. I was telling somebody about it today, and I'm like, this is not, how do you put content to what we're doing with Inner Sangha? Because it's really going within and finding the highest version of yourself, and then getting supported by myself and Stacy Mehas-Lewinsky, who's my partner with the Inner Sangha. And in addition to those offerings, we're looking at ensuring there's free offerings like this podcast and some kind of middle level courses like $99, and then the Sangha, which is a little more expensive. But the intention and the vision is to have offerings for everybody. So wherever you are in your journey, wherever you are financially or time-wise, we'll have an offering for you. Okay, so enough of the logistics and the housekeeping and all that good stuff. I wanted to jump in today to today's episode, and to give you an overview of what I'm going to share today, I really wanted to share about obviously the tumultuous year of 2020, looking forward to 2021 and how we're going to co-create together. And really, we're going to be co-creating together, and we're also going to be shedding the old at the same time. So it's going to be an interesting 2 to 3 years is what I'm kind of getting intuitively, and also hearing from a lot of other folks that it's an intense 2 to 3 years, and there's a massive shift happening for the next decade, nine more years. So I want to talk to you today about what it looks like to really embody, not setting a resolution or even really setting an intention, but to embody your soul's calling for 2021. And we really need, my listeners tend to be healers, empaths, intuitives, people that are really seeking and going down the path of self-improvement, but also helping others. It's a big part of what my audience does, is what I'm figuring out. So let's dive right in. So as I was saying, as we move into 2021, we all know that 2020 was crazy town city. Okay. I don't need to tell you that. And for me personally, 2020 was the most transformative year of my life. And I've had some really big transformative years over the last 45 years. But this year, 2020, and as I really reflect back upon it, when everything closed down, I was able to basically create a retreat for the last several months. So I had the privilege of doing that based on the ability to work from home, which I know everyone doesn't have that privilege. But for me, I was able to work from home. My wife ended up staying home with the kids and taking leave from her job. And so I was able to really, and then just everything slowed down at the school. And I had moved to a consulting role anyway. So I was able to really slow. Oh, and by the way, the water is on in the background on purpose. So we'll see how the audio sounds on the audio podcast, but I put it on in the background for purpose, and I'll tell more about that later. So I'm going to test this out and see how it goes. I got a fountain for my birthday back in October, and I have it in my office here. And so it was really like a long retreat for me. And I was able to really embody and take the concepts, the wisdom teachings, the timeless wisdom teachings that many of us know, and really embody them and apply them in a way that I never had before, because I was always in the grind of the everyday life and the material world. And so by doing that, I just kept up leveling and creating different scenarios and co-creating and manifesting things. And it was literally the most transformative time of my life. And so what's really clear to me in how I want to live in 2021 and how I want to share a message for 2021 is to really ensure and help people figure out their calling. So I'm hoping that I did a really great course with Michael Beckwith about visioning, and he talks about trying to catch the vision through your intuitive messages. And so I'm hoping to really share that message with you today around what happened with me is when I did that 2.5 hour session with Michael Beckwith, so we did the meditation, and what he teaches, I'm not going to get it totally precisely, but he teaches in a nutshell to find your peace, to get into the frequency of love, and then to get to calm, what I've heard be called the liquid state, the lucid zone, neutrality. And when you're there, ask for guidance from God, source, universe, your guides, whatever you believe, whatever you practice. Ask for guidance from your intuition and listen, catch the vision, as he says, listen for the clues. So let's actually do that for 1 minute now. And then I'll share what the vision, the wave, the catch the vision that I got and how it's going to guide me for 2021 and beyond, but definitely for this, this year in 2021. All right. So if you're driving, don't do this. But if you aren't driving or you're in a place where you can close your eyes for a second. If you're in a place where you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes, just find a place in the room. I'll do it with my eyes open so I can kind of keep an eye on the camera. But I'm going to look right at the flowing water, and I'll just look at the clock, and we're just going to do this for 1 minute because I know people are going to be listening. We can't do it for that long. Well, we could, but I don't want to. So I'm going to just spend 1 minute finding a gaze on the water. I did this with Dr. Araya in one of my podcast interviews, and it was so wonderful. It's like 1 minute can really change your whole entire perspective. So just take a deep breath. Let's do a long exhale. I'm still just focusing on the water. So I'm focusing on one spot. My eyes are open, but I'm getting into a meditative state. And while you're in this state, obviously it could take you longer, but this is just like a real snippet of what I would like you to do on your own. So get into a really relaxed state, to that neutral zone, to that different realm where you're connecting. And ask for guidance. Ask, what is the vision for you, for your human self, as your soul? What is your soul's vision for 2021? Sit back and ask for that. Ask and see if you can catch a word, a visual. If you are clairaudient, a sound. If you're clairvoyant, maybe a visual. If you're clairsentient, I consider myself clairsentient. I can just feel it. I don't see it or hear it, but I feel it. And then I'll usually get certain feelings that I turn into words, but I don't get words necessarily. Okay, I think it's been a little more than a minute. So I did this with Michael Beckwith for about 20 minutes, and the words that I got were so incredibly clear. And they were the words I got: pillar of love, be a pillar of love. That was my message. Be that. I am, my energy is a creativity catalyst. And then I got the word prism. So for me, let me break it down for you how this is going to help me in 2021. That's my soul talking to me directly. Again, your soul, your guides, the universe, God, your angels. Everyone has, their own belief systems, but in a nutshell, that is a higher source, your highest self speaking to you, speaking to me. And it said, be a pillar of love. Now, what I've been working around, and we've been doing this with the Inner Sangha, is really getting clear on what my coach talks about as the sacred name that she's done some work around, your sacred name. And I don't know much about this. I'd love to research more and I'll get back to you guys. But the idea is that in Native communities, they have a sacred name, meaning like my name would be like pillar of love, right? And so when I was working on that before I did the Michael Beckwith meditation, I was really clear that it is a space holder, a bridge builder, and a catalyst. Like I knew that before, right? But what happens is your mind gets into your subconscious starts running its programs, and you forget what you knew a month ago, and then you have to sit in another meditation to get it again. And the universe will keep giving to you over and over and over and over until you actually listen, or if you listen enough to actually do something. And I want to talk about that too. So I got pillar of love, creativity, catalyst, and prism. And I wrote it down as soon as I got out of the meditation, because I knew if I didn't write it down that I might forget it. And that, just a note on that, if you're getting a message from your meditation or intuition, if you don't write it down, don't freak out, because it's going to come back. But I wanted to write this one down because Michael Beckwith actually gave us time and said, write it down. But a lot of people are like, oh, I want to hurry up and write it down. And I'm like, listen, if it's an intuitive message, you'll get it over and over. You don't need to write it down. Like I never forget mine. I write them down just so that when my mind and my egoic mind starts to try and talk me out of it. Like, well, you shouldn't do that. Well, you shouldn't do that. Well, what about this? And well, that's illogical. And what are people going to think about this? All of that kind of false self running the show. So I basically, so the three words I got, sorry, I had written a few notes here. So basically, this is my intention. It's not a New Year's resolution. I don't even know if it's an intention. This is how I want to be. So the question you have to ask yourself is, how do I want to be? How do I want to show up? How do I want to embody my soul's calling in 2021? So for me, it's like, okay, everything I do is going to be, my North Star is to be a pillar of love. So like I started this by talking about my different programs, my different things I have going on. I have a lot of things going on. But in every single interaction I have in the school, in my coaching, it's to ground myself and to be the pillar of love. Okay, so that's like really clear to me. And then when I do that, I know that I'm the creativity catalyst. So for this podcast right now, I want you to know that this is a place where you can be safe and you can listen. So if you're having a hard day, if you're busy and things are crazy, I hope you can look forward to one of these episodes and to calm yourself, to calm your false self and all the noise and all the external factors that are driving you. And see, one of the reasons 2020 wasn't super stressful for me, and again, I have the privilege of working from home, getting my salary, so tons of privileges. I'm not going to bypass that. But one of the reasons it was not super awful for me is because I spent the last few years understanding and knowing and really deeply feeling into the fact that the outside world does not have to dictate my life, meaning the external events do not dictate my life. Do I ignore them? No. Do I know what happened at the Capitol? Do I know what's going on with Black Lives Matter? Of course, I'm paying attention to all of that. But I also know that my grounded, my pillar, the pillar that I am, the pillar of love, is grounded in love. And it's the eye in the storm. And by doing that, I know now I'm the pillar of love for 2021. So we're going through this massive shift, as I shared with you. And I know that that's my purpose, at least for the next 12 months, maybe longer, maybe shorter. But I know for the near future, is to really be the pillar of love and to hold the space for people, space holder. I know is another part of my soul's calling. So I want to hold the space here in this podcast. So everything I do in the men's group, I created a school, which is a community that holds space. My one-to-one coaching sessions, in my group coaching, in my stress course we just did. It's all about holding space for you to bring you back to your highest light so that you can then unleash the creativity and you can co-create with the universe and build anew as we go through this crazy time. Okay, the old paradigm is breaking down. The old systems, the old institutions are slowly but surely breaking down. And so we need the creatives. One of the first videos I did back in like February, March, I think even before coronavirus, before it really hit bad in like January, February, I said like maybe it was really early March, but I'll have to go back and look. But I said, we need the creatives, we need the entrepreneurs, we need the people that can see things from a different angle. So that gets me to my next point. I was like, why am I getting that prism? And with me, when the intuition and the guidance comes, it won't stop. It keeps saying prism, 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 prism. And I'm like, okay, I hear you, prism. And so again, for me, it's a feeling tone. It's not a like a voice. But so prism is, what's the basic of a prism? Like the light comes in and it comes out. I don't know the exact details, but it comes out as a different color and it's a different lens. So the way I'm going to show up and how I want to show up and how I want to be and how I want to act in 2021 is such that I can be a pillar of love for everybody I interact with, for every space I hold, for every project I have. I can then help them create, feel confident, be a catalyst for their creativity, and then show them through the prism that when you're looking at something, there's actually multiple different angles, and shift the lens from one color to multiple colors of the rainbow. And that's what I'm doing for all of 2021. So I hope that for you guys, that you were able to, turning the page, sorry for the rustling. I hope that you were able to, in that short amount of time, some of you might have gotten something in that short amount of time. The other thing that's happening to me is when I am holding the space and really grounding and being the pillar of love, people are manifesting things very quickly in their lives because they're in the energy that I'm in, and they're also getting really clear messages. So hopefully that helped you have a message. If it didn't, please do a meditation, do your walk, do your art, go into nature, hang out with the kids, the baby, whatever it is that you do to connect with that highest light within you. So hopefully you know what it is. If you don't know what it is, please reach out to me and I'll help you find it. Okay? I've gotten a lot of people reaching out to me lately for coaching, and I still have some availability. So please reach out to me or come into one of our programs. If you're not sure what helps you find your highest light, for me, it's a walk. It's a quick sitting meditation. It's looking at a tree. It's going and looking in my 7-year-old daughter's eyes. It is watching dogs. And I'm not even really a dog person. It's watching the leaves on the tree. It is going on a hike. Anything that just takes me out of this very limited perspective of the world, which is what happens when you're in your egoic mind. So you got to shift into your divine mind. And once you've done that, once you've gotten to calm, hopefully it doesn't take you too long, maybe through a meditation, whatever, then I want you to ask the universe in your meditation, what is my mission? Or you could ask another great thing that Lee Harris, who I really appreciate, he asked the question the other day, I believe it was, what does your soul want to say to you right now? Something to that effect. So ask, what does my soul want to say to me about 2021 and my role in it? Okay. And then I want you to use this in all areas of your life. But for right now, I want you to practice it. Get to the present moment. Figure out what's distracting you from the present moment. Okay, what is it? You're obsessing over something in the past. Your nervous system's on overdrive, your amygdala, because you think that something's bad's going to happen to you based on something that's, because your nervous system doesn't know the difference between the past, present, or the future. It doesn't do time. It just knows, oh, when I see that red shirt, that means someone's going to punch me in the face, and I'm going to go into overdrive, and I'm going to be really stressed out. So basically, try to get to the present moment. So when that happens, take a deep breath, find your practices that get you back to the present moment. Once you've done that, ask for guidance. So I'm asking you now to do this for 2021, but in general, this is what we're doing in the Inner Sangha. This is what I teach in all of my courses, what Stacy and I teach in the Inner Sangha, and what we did in the stress course is ask for guidance and then follow it. Okay. And this is where it's so important, because many of you will get the intuitive guidance and then you won't act on it. So this is where you have the feminine intuition, the feminine energy, and I'm talking about energy here, not gender roles. You have the feminine energy, and then you have the masculine energy. So the masculine energy typically is like the acting, right, and the doing. And the feminine energy, again, this is a super oversimplification, but just because we don't have a lot of time here, I'm wrapping up. So what I'd like to encourage you is when you get the intuitive tug, if I had not followed the intuitive tug to start this podcast, I wouldn't even be where I am right now. I just knew that was going to be my chop wood and carry water for a while. I was like, just focus on, I love conversations. I love having conversations. So I was like, just focus on interviewing people, right? But then I also knew that it was uncomfortable for me to do solo talks, like a speech or talking right now. Right now, I'm super comfortable and I'm very neutral and happy to be in this spot. But that's taken me a lot of time. That was a growth edge. When I first did a live and a podcast episode back in January, February, the beginning of 2020, I would have like massive fear. Like it was not easy. But I knew that the growth edge was getting really comfortable with speaking on lives, and eventually I want to do in actual events and stuff like that. But during this time, I knew it was just like getting on and doing a live. So I knew that was the growth edge, but I also knew intuitively that starting the podcast and doing the conversations was really easy for me, because one-to-one coaching has always been my wheelhouse, and conversations, like a juicy conversation, is literally my heaven on earth. My 40th birthday, I said, I want my two best friends and I want to sit and have a conversation. They're like, well, don't you want to go here and have this dinner and have all these people? I'm like, nope, just want to do a juicy conversation with you. So, so for me, it was just following the intuitive tug to start the podcast. And it wasn't a complication of, well, I got to get the technology and the this and that. I did hire a coach and all that. But then I realized that I was actually interviewing people in the Heart of the Matter Facebook group. And I was telling other people, hey, I'm really stressing about trying to get this podcast launched. And they're like, haven't you interviewed 20 people in like a month? I'm like, oh yeah, I have. See how the mind will trick you? So follow the intuition, because the longer you take to follow your intuitive guidance, the quicker, the more powerful the egoic mind will take you down, my friend. So follow it, okay? And you might get a clue. And then there's like, it's so simple, because then you'll get a clue that, like, I knew when I got the 3 words, pillar of love. It's the second one. Oh, creativity. I was like, pillar of love, creativity catalyst, and the prism. I was like, I knew like right away what those actually meant. And so, so when you get the message, when you get the word, when you get the feeling, when you get you hear something, you see something, act on it. It might be something as simple as like the other day I was in a coaching session with somebody and I kept getting simplify. I was coaching them, simplify. So like they might be getting a similar thing. And then it's like, what does that mean? So then you take an action step. It might be a small step, like simplify means, for me, I was getting that same message. Simplify. I'm doing 72 things. What's the point of all of it? So I was like, oh, okay. Thank you, universe. Let me take a step back and figure out what I'm doing here and make sure that I'm using my energy for the highest leverage activities that are really serving humanity. I know most people listening want to serve humanity and heal and help people. So I just really took a step back and said, let me simplify. Let me simplify and get really clear. So then, if I'm not being a pillar of love, if I'm not catalyzing creativity, and I'm not helping people see from a different angle through the prism and see all the colors of the universe. Ooh, that was a new one. I didn't even think about that till right now. Then I know that I'm overdoing it because I have an energy of overdoing. I can go way too into the masculine energy of do, and not even know what I'm doing anymore and just be exhausted and forget everything about being. So that would be how I would interpret that message. Maybe it's like a message of clear space, whatever the message is. And sometimes it's really, really small and you ignore it. It's like, call that person. Turn left, don't turn right. Turn off the Google Maps and see what happens. Right? So anyway, I really, really hope that this helps you focus your 2021. And I'm really excited that I did a solo episode because, like I said, that was a growth edge for me. And it was actually I was very anxious about it all day. And once I sat down and turned on the fountain, I realized, see, if I'm anxious, that means I'm worried about the future. Once I sat down and got in the present moment, I literally wrote down my notes in 3 minutes because I brought it into my awareness the last couple of days and sat with it today and be like, what am I going to talk about? And now it's just all coming through me really simply, really clearly. Okay. So thank you for listening. And I really appreciate all of you. Like I said, 1,000 downloads blows my mind. I really wanted to help and serve and connect and just push myself into something new and different and get out of just working to serve but doing something different and serving more, because I've been building my capacity to serve. So I really felt like this podcast could be just a totally free way for people to receive the timeless wisdom that's changed my life. And I'm really, really excited that I decided to do a solo episode, because if I hadn't listened to intuition, I would have just kept doing interviews, which are also beautiful, but there's something powerful about sitting in my growth edge right now, and it feels really liberating. All right. So if you have not already, join the Facebook group, Heart of the Matter Facebook group, like or follow Heart of the Matter company page. Like I said, we are redoing heartofthematter.io, and we're also redoing davidkrichards.com. However, in the interim, that doesn't mean that we're not doing our program. So we got the Inner Sangha coming back on 1 month from today is the new round, February 11th. I know there's some of you that are already in it, and that's continuing round 2 on February 16th. We are developing a couple courses that I'll let you know about soon. That will be around $99. And we're also looking into a membership program that'll probably be like a monthly membership fee, and it'll be a once or twice a year. I'm still accepting members to the men's group. We're only at about 8 or 10 right now. It's nice and intimate, but we're always looking for more members because we want to serve men. And all that's going on, but we're also taking a step back and figuring out how to really streamline, simplify, to make sure we're serving people in the highest light possible, that I'm using my energy in the best way so that I can show up for you here. If you have any interest in one-to-one coaching, davidkrichards.com, you can reach out to me. You can book on my LinkedIn, you can book a meeting with me. And most of you can find me on Facebook, so just reach out. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for taking some time with me. It really is an honor that 1,000 people have even decided to listen to this. And I'm really excited that it's continuing to grow slowly but surely. So thank you. Sending love to everyone. Please take care of yourself. Send love to your loved ones. Be there for people. Be there for yourself. And this is a really hard time, but I'm really, really grateful that we have a community here. That's the other thing. We're really going to need community. Community is going to be huge in the next few years, humongous. So I'm really excited that my human self is good at building communities, because I cannot wait to have a place where people feel heard, seen, loved. And I cannot wait. So if you're one of those people, please join the Facebook Heart of the Matter Facebook group, because that's the intention. And we're building a community slowly but surely. All right, enough for now. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.